I think a lot of the learning that I've gotten is from races that didn't go how I wanted to, or I messed something up in the race, or I failed in one aspect, but because I failed in that aspect, we figured out what I have to change. Because if you're just looking at, oh, I had this terrible race, this happened, like there's nothing I can do about it, then you're looking at that race wrong and you deserve to go slow. Like simple as that. Like, but if you can't figure out like and take away a learning experience from slow races or something like that, then you're not analyzing your races right. And
take your marks.
Welcome to another episode of the Get Out Swim podcast. I'm your host, Seamus T. Quinn, and today I'm joined by Towson Swimming and Diving's very own Brian Benzing. So, Brian, stoked to have you on. Thanks for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
For sure. So, Brian just finished his NCAA, his last NCAA with the Towson Tigers at Division I NCAAs at IUPUI, and it was like a crazy fast, not to mention a crazy fast competition in general, but Brian had a tremendous performance. He went 3 for 3 lifetime bests and conference records for the CAA. So, he kicked it off with the 200 IM. Just to read some stats. He finished with a time of 1:42.82, which secured a 23rd place finish, and it set a new CAA record. And then he moved on and he did the 100 breast, which is what I would say is kind of your bread and butter there. You went 50.59 and secured a national runner-up finish, which is just unbelievable, representing Towson in sort of the mid-major swimming and diving landscape on the big stage. And then you finished it off with a 2-breast performance, swimming a 1:52.71, which secured a 15th place finish in prelims, and then you ended up 16th at finals. So again, just ridiculously fast swimming, and it's crazy that some of those times only get you 23rd and 16th, because these are like next. It shows the levels in swimming and diving. But obviously the highlight there, your 1 breast, 50.5, getting second to a guy who broke the NCAA record in Liam Bell, and just a crazy fast meet, crazy fast performances. So kudos to you. Crushed it, and it was really fun to watch. Like truly, like that 1 breast, I had it on the TV on ESPN Plus, and I think the commentators were hyping you up. They were like, "Oh, here's the Towson guy. We have a lot more on him to share with you." And your celebration after the race, it was kind of like Cody Miller-esque when he got 3rd at the Olympics. It was like, yeah, you didn't win, but at the same time, to be like a national runner-up and go a 50.5 is just a huge swim. Yeah. And you seem really pumped up. So I wish they focused the camera more on you, because obviously they were focusing on Liam Bell and he was flexing to the Cal Bears. But like I was like, dude, pan the camera just over to Brian, because he's definitely going crazy right now. Yeah. So anyways, like massive swims, and yeah, we'll start here. Like what were your like thoughts, emotions kind of after finishing the meet? Like we could even go at after the 1 breast, like what are the thoughts? What are you going through? Did you set certain goals or expectations heading in? Did you exceed those? Just kind of take us through the meet and sort of how it all played out.
Yeah, so I guess going into it, like the whole year, we kind of knew that the 100 breaststroke would be a little more open with all the 5th years exiting. So I knew that it was like a lofty thing, but throughout the season, I was like, I could win this. Like I could win the 100 breaststroke. Like there's a good chance that I have like somebody doesn't show up or I show up and I end up holding that first place trophy. So throughout the season, we knew that we had goals. Like the whole season was just overall better for me. I stayed the summer, trained the whole summer, and it kind of paid dividends. So like, for example, like I broke 53 for the first time in a Speedo, and I was like, all right, yeah. Like I know I can go fast now. Like I know I could probably go faster than what I did last year. And then conferences was weird because I felt good going in, but I think I got sick. So after I swam the 2 IM the next day, I woke up with like a huge headache. I was kind of worried. Swam prelims, 1 fly, 1 breast, because I did the double. hurt. And I was like, like maybe I'll get some caffeine in me, like sleep, get rid of the headache maybe. But it didn't go away. And so in finals, like I just felt terrible, swim the one fly, got out. My trainer gave me like the max amount of ibuprofen possible because I just like my headache wouldn't go away. I was having like tunnel vision. I was like dizzy, like do whatever I have to do whatever I have to do to just finish the 100 breaststroke. And I was really worried I wasn't going to go anywhere close to my personal best. Like, but touched the wall. It's like 51:30. And I was like, all right, that's okay. Like, I know that I didn't fully taper for this and that I'm not feeling good, so I'll take it. And I thought I had a lot left in the tank, but it was a little discouraging at the time, like, because I thought, wow, like this is my chance to break 51. Like I'm gonna do it here, but
Right.
didn't do too hot. So I
But
didn't.
but but even still, I mean, it's pretty wild to hear you say that you were sick because, looking at your results from that conference meet, I mean, you went some fast times. Like you were 1:43 in the 2 IM, you were 46 in the one fly, and then you capped it off with a 51 in the one breast. Not to mention some really good relay swims, 1:34 in the two free. I mean, it looked like a really solid meet, especially considering being sick, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy with the meet. Don't get me wrong. It was just that one day where I had the two individuals, and I woke up and I had like a
Right.
terrible headache. I was just like, "There's no way!" Like,
Yeah.
and of course, like what had sucked is that I had been sick. Um, I think 2 weeks out. Like I was sick for the whole week,
Mm,
and then I just had finished recovering like the week before, so like the week leading up to conferences. And I was like, all right, well, I kind of got that out of my system. So I didn't expect to be sick again, and I got sick, and I was like, all right, like this is annoying. Like I
right.
can't believe I just got sick again. I'm not blaming that for my performance, but like looking back on it, like clearly I had more in the tank.
For
Um,
sure.
but so coming off of conferences, like I think Tony looked at it as like you have a lot more in the tank. So we kind of shifted gears, obviously, got back up a little bit, but then it was just more taper.
Mhm.
It was a really weird period for me as well because like 20 people from my team went to NICs,
Mhm.
CAAs or whatever. So I was training for alone during that period when they were at the meet because no one else, like everybody else who went to conferences but didn't go to NICs, um, like took time off, took 2 weeks or whatever.
Right, they were done.
Yeah, they were done. So I was training alone during their NICs, and then the week after was our spring break, the week before NCAAs. So everybody
Yeah.
was gone.
Everyone's gone.
Everyone's gone. So I'm there alone for 2 weeks training, and like
Wow.
that was like the first week it was fine, and then the second week, like I was starting like there were some days where it's like you suit up, you go time, and it's not as fast as you want, or like you
Right.
can't figure it out in practice, and it's not feeling good. And it was just like mentally, it was just training alone was not fun,
Yeah, yeah, it's hard.
and especially like the only person like I had around me was my girlfriend because it's like everybody else is somewhere, like you can't really do anything outside of swimming.
Right, right.
So that was a little difficult, and I wasn't really trusting the taper going into it. And I was like, well, like it is what it is. Like I'll just go there. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I'm not gonna not try. I'm gonna go and put my best
Yeah.
effort in. And then the 2 IM happened, and I
Yeah.
split like a 28.3 on the breaststroke and won a best time. I was like, all right, okay, maybe I trust the taper. The taper, like it's looking good.
I'm back, yeah.
And then the 100 breast, the prelims. I was just excited to have a chance. Like I touched the wall and I was like, all right, 50.92. Like I'm making a final. There's no way I'm not in that A final. Because like the past 2 years, it was like ninth 2 years ago by .07. Like I could have been in the A final. Last year, I think I got 12th or 13th in prelims, and it was just like I just wanted to be in the A final, so I had a chance, like just to be All American. Like
Yeah, oh, for sure. It's a huge, yeah, to be in that A final is like a huge accomplishment.
yeah. And so I got that, and I was like, all right, let's go. Like I can choke tonight because like in my performances, like at NCAAs, like whenever I had made the B final, I always would go slower at night. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like if I go slower at night, it is what it is. I'm still All American. Like just the only thing I can't do is disqualify or flinch on the start or something like that, and I should be fine. And then I kind of just blacked out and hit the wall. Saw 50 point. Well, I saw initially 50.92. I don't know why. I think I saw 50. I didn't see the 5, and I saw 9 in the second. And I was like, oh, okay, 15.92. Like I got second. That's hype. And then it like shuffled, put all the names on the side, and I saw 50.5, and my jaw dropped. I was like, there's no way I just like
There's
went
no way.
fast and got second. Like, and then I saw the American record, and I was like, holy crap! Like he
Yeah.
just shattered Max McHugh's record. Like, or not Max
Record.
McHugh's, Finity's
Ian,
record.
Infinity, yeah.
Like no one expected that.
Yeah, that was wild.
I was like, my jaw was dropped because I saw him only on the last lap, and I was like, all right, I'm probably going like close to what I was going. Like he's probably 50 point low, and I touched the wall. I was like, holy crap! Like he just crapped on me. Like he just beat me by a whole second. That's crazy.
Right. So, okay, I have a question already. Talk about the mindset shift between your prelims one breast and then the finals one breast. Because like you said, you kind of just blacked out and it happened, but like describe sort of how you approach like the morning swim and just getting, the best effort you can kind of get in to get into that A final. And then now, okay, A final comes, you're in that ready room area, the walkouts, like describe that whole experience of like how you get into the mindset where you can lock in and know I'm going to give myself a chance.
Yeah. So luckily I'm one of those people who have always kind of just had better night swims. So like the morning, if I go fast in the morning and I'm feeling good, then I know that I'll most likely drop at night. So nothing really changed because we know one of the big thing that I changed for my breaststroke, at least for the prelims and finals, like at this meet, was staying relaxed, a little more relaxed the second 50. So I know like a lot of people and myself included, like the last 25, you'll see the wall and you'll just spin. Like it's less trying to like still catch water and more just spin, get to the wall, get to the wall. So eliminating that mindset and trying to just relax and like take less strokes the last 25, and rather than like churn, like more reach for the wall, like make each stroke count. So that was like, I knew that if I did that in the morning, then I would be able to repeat it better at night. And my coach just like had to remind me, like, don't go too fast on the first 25. Don't spin your wheels too much. And I got to the first 25 and I turned and I saw Bell ahead of me, and I had to like physically restrain. Like I had to tell myself, like, do not go faster.
Don't chase him. Yeah, don't chase
him. Just do your thing. But it was funny because I in the ready room, everybody else had music in, like headphones on. I was the only one without it, and I was just sitting there, not a thought in my head, just thinking about what I do when I walk out, what I could do to represent Towson. The camera's on me.
It sounds like you're kind of like living in the moment. You don't need the music. You can just kind of sit with your thoughts and think about, okay, how am I going to represent myself and Towson when I walk out on the blocks? But are you letting your mind go towards the race? Like, oh, this is how I need to swim? Or you're just like, no, I just got to be in the moment.
No, that's what practice is for. Like, I mean, I've done so many races, so many everything. Like, there's no point. Like, obviously, in between sessions, I'll analyze it, think about what I want to do. But, like, if you're thinking about what you want to do in your race before you're about to swim it, like right before, I think it's probably not the best idea. You just get hyper focused on some details or stuff, and then it might not go right. But no, yeah, I was just definitely trying to stay in the moment. So much so that like I had a smelling salt with me to like, I don't know, give me hype or whatever before. And I walk out, had it in my pocket, completely forgot to take it. Didn't cross my mind. I was so locked in that like I didn't do it. I just forgot about it, and I didn't need it, so it was awesome.
What was the talk to me about just like walking out, because it was pretty cool, the presentation of like having the screen. It was kind of like this display of like here's presenting Brian Benzing, and they had the Towson logo. It was kind of, they hyped it up, and the announcers did a good job. So what was it like just walking out to like all these screaming fans and knowing like this is the pinnacle, this is the A final, of the one breast, and here I am, about to represent myself and my school. Like, what was that like just walking out?
Yeah, so honestly, I thought I would be a lot more nervous, just because I'm somebody who tends to get a little anxious before races or just like high pressure, like a lot of people were watching type. But when I walked out, I was really calm, and it was awesome because like I think you saw there wasn't any Towson fans there. There was my two coaches
Right,
on
right.
the deck, and then there was my mom and dad up in the stands.
Mm.
And so I was fortunate enough though, where I have a teammate whose brother, Alex Colson, his brother Sean is my teammate, swims for ASU. And so his parents like rounded up the ASU guys to cheer for me when I was.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I had that, and then I also had all the Indiana fans cheering for me too because I'll be going there next year. So
Right, right.
I had a pretty big group of people cheering for me, so that was really sick. Uh,
That's great.
so like not even like when I was just walking out, but like prelims 200 IM, prelims 2 breast, they would go crazy for me. I'd look up and they all be yelling, Brian, like good job, Brian.
Oh,
Like
that's
that. And I
amazing.
was just like, it's so awesome because like as like a mid-major guy who like none of my teammates are here. I'm the only one here. No fans. It's nowhere close to Towson. Like having like
Right.
a group of people besides my parents that are cheering was awesome.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
it
No,
was
good feeling.
the A final was definitely everything it's chalked up to be. Just walking out, the lights are on you. It's the cameras are on you. Everything was just like it was the craziest. Like I've been to some European meets where they have like pretty good like walkouts and stuff like that, but that was the craziest. It was so awesome.
Really?
Mhm.
Really? So is it like odd? I don't know. I haven't been obviously at the caliber of a meet where there's, cameras and, there's like the ESPN banner and they've really kind of, just livened the place up to make it this entertaining atmosphere, besides just a swim pool. So like, is it kind of weird just to like walk out and see the camera on you and sort of have, just kind of the theatrics of like, this is a, live television, nationally broadcasted meet. Does that get to you, or does it feel weird, or are you kind of like, this is just really cool?
No, I thought it was just really cool. I mean, like before I swam, I was thinking about how like all of my teammates, like everybody back home, like they're gonna be watching every movement that goes through that camera. Like
Mm,
when I walk out, they're gonna see it. When I die, like everything they're gonna see, and like even though they're not here, they're gonna see it, which is just crazy. And I thought it was just really cool, like the level of I guess like hosting or like the amount of effort they put into the event. I thought they did really well.
yeah.
This time, ESPN with like the camera work and some stuff like that. They did have some faults with like I think they didn't show the final heat of the 100 backstroke or something in the morning. Um, but
Yeah, yeah,
overall,
they had some hiccups, definitely.
yeah. But overall, I think it was a little bit better than last year. And it was definitely so sick to just walk out and like see the camera, see the fans, and just know that like this is like the pinnacle of 100 breaststroke. This is like the top heat. Like people work their entire lives for this moment, and like I'm here. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure. Yeah. And it like, just with you only having your coaches there, and of course the other teams rallying behind you, like ASU and IU, and certainly your parents. But what are your coaches like telling you, like Tony and Coach Emily there, before your race? Is there anything that is going to stick with you before going into a race like that they particularly say, or any advice they give you? Just because it is, yourself, like you said, no teammates. It's far from Towson. So is there anything kind of special that they're imparting to you to like really focus on, or anything that you took away from their own coaching?
I think the one thing that they said that like it's just like be in the moment. Like
Mm,
you work so hard for this. Just like don't let everything like get to you. Just try to stay in the moment and enjoy it. Like I think one thing that I found um, during this meet was that like routine for me is really important because we were doing the same warm up, the same waking up at the same time, eating the same thing, just doing everything the same leading up to all the events. Like I warmed up for the 100 breast prelims the same way I warmed up for the 100 breast finals. And so like just having Tony there, like we did I think we did a 50 and then two 25s from a push where it was like the 50 was on like a minute or 50, and then 25s around like 30 seconds. But it was meant to just be like, it's supposed to simulate the 100. And so
Right.
I think I was like a 24-4, just like build. So it was like 4 strokes, 6 strokes, and then 2 25s. I was like 12-6, 12-1 or something like that. And it just like, he just kept going, yeah, like, come on, like, this is what, like she turned, show me the thing, then like go crazy.
Hyping you up. Yeah.
Let's go. Like, see, like, you trust me now. Like, you're ready. Like, you're going to go out there. Like, trust yourself. Like, trust it. Like, you show yourself right here that you can do it. Like, just go out there and do that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, for sure. So okay, so routine, you learn that's really important, like dialing in, your sleep, what time you're waking up, getting in the right breakfast, warm up schedule, all of that. And talk to me a little bit more about like that routine. Is that something that when it comes to like big meets, like your conference meet, and even in meets in years past or dual meets, like, is that something you've always noticed with you, like having a good routine and keeping it consistent will help kind of get you in the right headspace to just focus on executing a good race? And what does that like routine kind of look like for you?
So I think like routine's always been important. But I think conferences is a little different because it's like I'm there with like I have a roommate, stuff like that. It's like a full
Right.
team environment. It's not like
Whole team.
less leniency to like create my own. Because like when we're at conferences, obviously wake up as a team, eat as a team. We go there in the morning. We do a full team like pre like warm up. So it'll be like a 200 swim, 4 100s, on 140, like kick swim, drill swim, or whatever, and then 450s on 50. Breathe every 3 down, breathe every 7 back. So like that, like in the morning, I'll do that. But I think less routine for that, just simply because like it's not more about me, it's more about the team. So like we have to create a routine that the whole team can follow.
Mhm.
I think NCAAs I was very lucky where it's like I only have myself in my hotel room. So in order to like sleep better, I was avoiding the phone, reading before I slept, making sure that like I was going to sleep at like a reasonable time, waking up around, I think it was like 8 o'clock every morning, and then food, Chipotle for lunch every day.
Yeah.
It was same warm up every morning. It's just like it like I feel like it creates like a system where it's like you can like notice where you're improving, right? Because if it's like you're doing the same things every day, and if it feels better to do that every day, or if like it gets you comfortable, it just like gives you a little more confidence.
Definitely.
And I think this, especially because last year, like we showed up Tuesday and I swam Thursday. I mean, it's not like I was late to it or anything, but I think showing up Monday and having that extra day to get used to the pool, get used to the hotel, get used to everything, it allows you to get into that routine better and like be more used to it, be more used to the pool, know what to expect.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think just in general with like, I don't know, I got this Whoop thing and it tells me like a lot of the stats and like sleeping and stuff and when to go to sleep. So like if I'm trying to hit like 8-9 hours of sleep, I'll put in the wake up time for this and it'll tell me what time I got to go to sleep. So I try to follow that. And I think
Yeah, it's a
that
nice,
really helps.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Whoop is like, yeah, it's like that accountability piece because
Yeah.
it's intaking how much sleep you're getting, and you can see it on display the next day.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. I think there's the bad side with that where it's like if you don't get good sleep and you wake up and you see like 30-40% sleep or 20%
oh yeah,
recovery, you're like, shit,
messes with
like
you.
I'm screwed. So
Yeah,
but
messes with
luckily
you.
like I had pretty bad recovery leading up to the meet, and then like the day before I swam the one breast, like leading up to it, like you could tell like 49% was like when I got there,
Oh yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then like Thursday night. So after the 2 a.m.
you had a lot
Yeah, I
of
got a
rest.
lot better recovery, and it was
Wow.
Yeah, it was no, Wednesday was 50. Yeah, Thursday 86, 78, 7. Like somehow I just got it down for the one breast, two breast, and like the day after. So I was like very happy. Like I was a little worried because like it was hard to fall asleep in the hotel. Like you know how it is. You get to a hotel,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
you can't fall asleep no matter what you do. So
Yep, yep. It's because it disrupts your routine. Although the hotel is comfortable, it's nice beds, comforters, whatever. It's like yeah, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to fall asleep sometimes, and you're also at a meet, so
yeah,
all those thoughts are
all the
racing.
nerves, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so talk to me about race strategy. Like when it comes to the one breast, obviously the higher level you're competing at, and I feel like the more you're attempting to drop, especially as you're getting down to 50 seconds in a one breath, which is just wild. Um, Talk to me about like you touched on it a little bit, but just like the strategy involved. Like, are you counting your strokes? Are you having a stroke count that's completely dialed in per lap? Are you making sure that you're maximizing your dolphin kick on your pullout, or like what are some details in there that you're maybe working on in practice and that can correlate to the race? And it could even be like very time specific splits that you need to hit. Like just talk to me about dialing in that race strategy and what goes into that.
Yeah, so I had a completely different race strategy last year. Last year, going into NCAAs and like conferences, it was just like, all right, fly and die, take it out like a 23.6, hope to come home. Like you're not gonna come home like a 29, so you're gonna be fine. You'll come home like a 27 mid to high. So you'll probably go like a 51, 51 2, 51, anyone from where from a 51 2 to like a 51 4. Um, and the more I swam it, like the more me and Tony kind of came to agreement that it's like I don't need to fly and die. Um, so we know I have like easy speed, so I can take it out in like a 23. Well, now I know I can take it out of 23.7 without too much effort. So it was figuring out how to make that second 50 faster. Um, and for me, what it came down to for the first 50, I knew that the first 25 I had to take 4 strokes. And then if I can stay between 6 to 8, preferably 6 to 7 strokes for the rest of the 25s, then I knew that I was money. Because any more strokes, I would start spinning and my stroke efficiency would drop, and I would go slower. So I knew I had to hit 4.6 or 4.7 on the first 50, and try to bring it 7.7 or 7.8. And to do that, it was aided. We were my pull out is pretty good, I think. Um, so one thing that we focused on was making sure that I don't rush my pull out and I push off the wall. I hold streamline for a little longer than I usually do. Get into that pull out, hold the I guess the position before you recover a little longer, and then make sure I transition well into the stroke. So it was really maximizing the pullouts per wall, and making sure that I was I wasn't spinning. And he just kept saying it's a numbers game, like it's simple. He'd put up a number on the board. Um, he didn't even have me like. I think that a lot of the times for me, he overestimates what I can do, and he had me going out. I think we said 23.6, and coming home at 27.1. And then he broke it down by 25s. Like these are, and then he's like, it's simple. It's just numbers. Like it'd be like a 12 and a 13 on the last 50, or 2 13s or something like that. Um, and I knew that like if I could stay consistent, like if I could consistently hit um, around those 25 splits from a push with 6 to 7 strokes, that if I can make sure that I actually stay relaxed that second 50, then I'll be able to hit that time. Um, and I think that the strategy worked better than I thought, because I never thought that I would break, or I knew I probably had the potential to break 27 on the second 50, but I didn't think I was going to break it and go like a 20, 26.8 or 26.89 or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was just dialing in, making sure that I wasn't losing stroke efficiency the last 50, and trying to maximize pullouts and getting off the wall.
Yeah. No, it's great. I think people can benefit from hearing that because um, having a race strategy, again, especially as you're trying to tack off tenths of a second, hundredths of a second, it's like it's crucial. You got to know what you know, what you're trying to do, and breaking it down even into each 25 is crucial.
Yeah.
So,
One
um,
thing, like the event, sorry, don't not to cut you off,
no,
but
no,
like one of the
no.
events that like I've seen the most drop in because of a race strategy was my 2 IM. Like last year, I was a 144.4 at conferences, and at NCAAs in prelims, I was like a 145.7 or something like that. But um, where I saw the benefit of a race strategy was like number of kicks. It's just like number of kicks. It changed everything. At midseason, I went a 143.6 in the 2 IM and finals, simply because I did 6 kicks. No, I didn't even do 6 kicks on fly. That I think I did 4 on fly, and then I was like, yeah, I'm doing 6 kicks off each wall in the backstroke, and just stay consistent with the breaststroke and bring it home on the freestyle. And those 6 kicks turned my backstroke. When I went a 144, my backstroke split was like a 27.8.
Wow.
27 something.
Yeah.
So I managed to get from conferences to midseason, I managed to get my backstroke down to a 26.5. And the breaststroke remained a 28.4. Freestyle, like everything was good. And then at conferences and NCAAs, I did 6 kicks fly. Like you just have to, in practice, I found that like you need to pick a number that you're comfortable with for like, it could be the 100 fly, it could be the 100 back, it could be 2 IM. Pick a number that you're comfortable with underwaters, or not comfortable with, but that you want to do during the race. And that's
Right.
what you need to be doing off of every wall during those practices. Because if you get
Mm.
comfortable with doing that number in practice when you're on short rest and you have to do more yardage, then you're going to get to the race and those 6 underwaters are going to feel like nothing. Because
Easy.
when I did 6 on fly, 6 off each wall for fly, same on back, I did 7 actually at NCAAs because I was like, I want to go faster. And it felt so easy. Like it
Yeah.
was so much easier. And I thought that if I did that during my race when I was slower, that like I would die and I wouldn't be able to come home. But I went my fastest breaststroke split. Granted, the freestyle was really slow and I'm not
Hurting.
happy with it. 26.0 coming home is not good.
Yeah.
But like I think everything else in that race like was executed to the T based on the plan, like what we knew that I could do and what we had been working on in practice. So just like I tell this to all of my teammates, like they're like, well, like how do you get faster? Like what do you do? I was like, dude, just pick a number, and if you think like pick a number and stick to that number. If it's 8, you're doing 8 to 10 off of every wall in practice because if you do more, 8's gonna feel easy in the meet, like,
Right.
and it just gives you so much more confidence because you're like, okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 6. I'm going to come up and it's going to be fine. Like
Right.
there's no guessing. I think that's one of the problems I played with like the 2 IM was I was just always guessing. I was like, man, do I rip 4 underwaters here? Oh, I'm kind of hurting. I'll just do 4. Like you can't leave it up to chance. You have to know exactly what you're going to do.
Right. Well, yeah, because that's important to touch on. I used to do the same thing. It's like you rather than swimming off of instinct, like just
Mhm.
getting in and being like, all right, I'm just gonna do whatever feels good. If it's 4, it's 4. If it's 5, it's 5. Like you switch that to actually being like, no, I have it dialed down. Like I've been doing 6 kicks, in a routine in practice, and now it's just unconscious. Like I
Yeah.
don't have to actually think about it. I've embedded it down here, and I can just execute it, and it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel like I could probably go even more.
No.
So
Yeah. Like
that's
the
awesome.
2 IM hurt so much more when I had no idea what I was doing. Like
Yeah,
I
for
was just like,
sure.
yeah, sure, I'll rip 4 kicks on here, 4 kicks there. Like
Yep.
so. Well,
I used to dread like the two, particularly in dual meets. Like if I had to do the double where I was doing 1 back, 2 back, and then the 2 IM at the very end of the meet before the 2 free relay, I would always be like, oh God, this 2 IM is just going to be so painful. And in part, it was because I didn't know how to strategize probably the right way for me to try and like, best utilize the energy within the race. Like I would just rip the flying back because I was probably better on the front end of the race,
Mhm.
die on the breaststroke, and then be even more dead for the freestyle. And I'd be like, that was the most painful thing in my life. Why do I swim? It's like, those thoughts. And so, yeah, if you can have a strategy, you can avoid those thoughts and be actually and have fun swimming the race. And that's the best part of swimming is like, rather than it hurting and you being like, that was the worst thing ever. Why do I do this? It's like, oh, that was surprisingly easy. Like, or it felt good. Like, I want to do this again. I want to see how fast I can go. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. And 142, I mean, yeah, that is so fast. That it's crazy that I only got 23rd. Like people are going, whatever, one sub 140s. And I'm just like, how? Like that was such a big deal, when like David Nolan did it, however many years back for Stanford. It's like
Mhm.
142 is crazy. So obviously one breast, your bread and butter. Would you say that that's your best and favorite event, or do you enjoy getting away from breaststroke a little bit and swimming the IM, swimming like a butterfly at conferences? Like, I often think about this. Like I was a backstroker, and don't get me wrong, I love doing my primary stroke, like backstroke, and ripping it in practice. But I feel like for swimmers, a lot of times it can get like just overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, it's all I'm thinking about. I'm just like, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. So I guess talk to me about how maybe you like try to have a healthy relationship with like your best stroke.
Yeah. So, um, I think Tony just said this. Like, it kind of made more sense after, not made more sense, but it was just like highlighted by the meet. But it was like, um, if you put all your eggs in one basket or like one stroke, for example, if you're not performing in that stroke, it just leads to disappointment, and there's no other area to like focus on. You just have this. That's all you have. It's either make or break with that event. So like being able to like step out of my comfort zone and do all these other events is, I think it's nice because it takes away the pressure. It takes away the monotony of just doing the same stroke over and over again. Um, I actually really, really enjoy swimming the 200 freestyle. I love it. I don't know why. I think it's my favorite event besides the 100 breast. I just short course yards at least. I haven't really swam it any other length in a while, but I really like it. I really love training for it. Um, on the contrary, now I really love swimming the 2 IM. I love swimming it. Hate training for it. Absolutely hate it. Those practices are some of the worst practices for me, and like just I die every single time. Like there are kids like my coach always says he's like, yeah, like the kids who go like a 146 or 147 beat him in practice all the time in these things just because like that's just how I am. Like the 2 IM, I don't know what it is. Changing the strokes in practices just kills me.
It's hard. It's hard training for sure.
Um, but I think like being able to do like 100 backstroke randomly or stuff like that, I enjoy. I think the 100 breast is my favorite event, but like being able to step out, do the 2 IM. The one fly, I was kind of disappointed with at conferences just because I had been doing so much work for it. Um, but I think being able to do those events for the team or whatever it's still awesome, and it does take away from like there's days where I don't have to do breaststroke, and if for example, like last year, my groin, I had injured my groin doing too much breaststroke with too little rest at the beginning of the year, um, and so I had to nurse that injury, and as a result, I ended up training a lot more fly, a lot more freestyle, stuff like that. So all those events ended up improving. So it's nice to be able to like step away from breaststroke, focus on something else, take away the pressure, whatever, from that event. Um, and I enjoyed 200 freestyle training. So that's nice. I like that.
What specifically about 200 freestyle training do you enjoy? Like if you could throw out like specific sets or anything that like that gets you dialed in.
I don't know. I just like not changing strokes, and I like doing freestyle. Like I think it's one of the things that I train the best. And like um, for me, like we'll do like a bunch. I think one of my favorite things to do is I don't know. We'll do some like crazy stuff off the blocks where um, we'll do like a broken 1,000 for time off the block. So it'll be like 400, 300, 200, 100, just essentially like all out each one of them. And then you get your broken 100 time or whatever, or 1,000 time. So, yeah, you get your broken 1,000 time. And so like for me, like I'm not a distance swimmer. So like, or like mid distance, like, so like the 500 freestyle guys, that should be their bread and butter. But I love like getting up on the blocks and like challenging them and like going and beating like, um, I lost on the 400, but everything else I would win. Like it was just my thing to like get up there and challenge the mid distance guys and like show that like, hey, I'm not just a guy that can do like a 200 and 100. I could probably get up there and swim a 500 with you guys if I trained for it. It's
Right.
just nice. I don't know. I
Yeah,
freestyle,
definitely.
yeah, it's different. It's nice. And like freestyle is the only stroke that like I feel like I don't die crazy in. So
Yeah.
I could just keep doing that in practice. But
Yeah. Well, yeah, those like the long axis strokes, freestyle backstroke, you can definitely, I feel like, hold those and maintain a pace and like a threshold. But when you go to the short axis strokes like butterfly and breast, it's like, oh, do I need to do another one? My body is dying here. Like, you
butterfly,
know,
like okay, so
oh,
one of the
butterfly.
first times I got to college, like one of my first practices, we did 950s on 50. I didn't finish them. I got to like number 7 or 8 and I couldn't get my arms out of the water.
Yeah, you just like you can't. It's not even like I don't want to. It's like I
Yeah.
physically can't get my arms out of the
Yeah.
water.
I
It's
don't know. I think I just panic and like I tense up so much, but like I
right.
was like, there's no way that I shouldn't be finished. Like these aren't even hard. They were like an easy part of the set, and I couldn't finish them. It was like the
Right.
most embarrassing thing ever. But that's just how I am with fly. I don't have easy fly. It's either
Mm,
I try really hard and I go fast, or I die.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's different for each person for sure. Well, I have a few more questions here, but uh one that comes to mind is obviously you've had so much success at Towson. Like this, you've wrapped up sort of your time as a Towson swimmer as far as, the college and short course season now. But looking back, from just joining, kind of fresh out of high school, joining Towson and seeing the improvements that you've made since joining, like just what has worked for you? Like and I know there's probably like a lot of things that you could mention, but maybe what are like some specifics you think that has really benefited you from the Towson Swimming and Dive program, and that maybe could benefit, like other swimmers, like, specific things that you do, whether that's within workout or weight training or nutrition, recovery, like anything, just team culture, like just give out some specifics, I guess, of what has really worked for you.
Yeah. So I think I have a pretty funny like swimming story, right? So like in terms of like journey, because up until my sophomore year of high school, I was like a quad sport athlete, so I wasn't really focused on swimming. Um, and then my junior year, uh, like I was playing basketball and swimming, and my coach was trying to get me to come to morning practices. I was like, no, I'm not going to come to 5:30 morning practices. Like I got I got school at 8. Like there's no point. Like I don't really care about swimming that much. Like fast forward, I make nationals somehow. So I swim the long course nationals that summer, my junior year. My coach convinces me to quit basketball because at that point I kind of had to make a decision anyway and take up swimming full time. So that year I spent reworking every single stroke, and I credit a lot of my success to just the foundations that I built in Norway. It was like a lot of the stuff that I do now is because of what I was able to establish back then. Like it was a lot of technique work. We completely rehauled my strokes. Every single stroke, I essentially relearned. The technique was changed. And one of the biggest things that I learned was mind to muscle connection and being able to take changes that my coaches or critiques that my coaches suggest and make those physical changes in the pool, whether that be sculling, hand placement, head placement, chin placement, how I'm rotating, stuff like that. Like they would film me, they'd tell me, they'd circle it, do whatever, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and then they'd say change it. And or like they'd tell me how to change it. And it was being able to take those critiques and actually make those changes. And one of the best things that I thought was skull, being able to feel the water, being able to feel that catch. I think that was one of the revelations I had. And I think at Towson, it was so that like I had those foundations coming out of high school. Like I knew how to take critique, how to make those changes in the pool. I was very open to coaching. So like if coaches made suggestions, I wasn't going to say like no, like I'm doing it my way. I was saying, okay, like how do I change it? What do I have to do? What drills? Like um, I just wanted to be a student of the sport, and I think I still do really want to be. I want to learn as much as I can. Um, but I think at Towson, it was just taking all, obviously putting on muscle, getting older, developing, taking those techniques and applying them. I think race strategy, obviously, um, played a big role. Learning what not to do and what to do during different races based on technique, how to train for stuff. Um, and then I think one of the big things that made a difference between this year and last year was I think I pushed myself more this year. Like
Mm.
um, I had never failed a practice, and this year I did an IM set alone with Tony over winter break, and I failed. I couldn't finish the practice. Like it broke me. And then from that point till now, I'd never had a bad IM set again. I never failed. I never like allowed myself to get to that point again. Um, and I think I think advice for some people would be like be coachable. I think like allowing critique to not like bruise your ego is very important because if you're doing something wrong and you refuse to change it, you're never going to get faster. Um, and I think a lot of people as well, they'll get to this point and they want to like experience the college life, like, going out partying, doing all that. But you have to kind of reel in your habits and make sure that you're recovering outside of the pool and getting good sleep, eating properly, because the Monday practice is always going to hurt if you're out on a Saturday getting slammed and not recovering. Um, and I think just being one of the things, I think being like goal driven, maybe like, because if you're just floating around with no like tangible direction, you don't know where you're going. You're never going to succeed because you don't know what you want. But if you know what you want and you write it down or you have goals and you can make like tangible steps every day or tangible changes every day to move towards that goal, then in the long run, you're going to succeed a lot more.
Mm. I like that. Yeah. Um, and even you touched on there's a lot of good things that you touched on there, but even going back to failing, like this year, you were talking about up to this point, you really haven't failed a set. You haven't really failed a workout, and then this year you made that kind of connection where okay, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to see, where my limits lie, and if I'm tested, if I fail, what am I going to do? Like and it seems like you were able to just bounce off of that failure or learn from it, and then just be resilient and get back into training and not fail again in that way. So I think that's really important because I even did at some point during my studies I did like a presentation on failure and just why we are, and we as in uh, athletes, as in students, really anyone, all encompassing, why we're afraid of failure and why we always try to be comfortable and kind of stick with what works for us and what's comfortable for us and what's always worked, rather than going head on towards the stuff that is going to make us nervous or scared or just approach a level of failure like it might not work out. And I think you touching on that is important because as swimmers and as athletes, that failure piece is ultimately what's going to push you to, grow and just get better overall, not only as a swimmer, but as a person, I think. So I really like that.
Yeah. And I think that if you can learn, like, not only, but like, just accept failure, but learn from it. Like, I think a lot of the learning that I've gotten is from races that didn't go, or like didn't go how I wanted to, or I messed something up in the race, or I failed in one aspect, but because I failed in that aspect, we figured out what I have to change. Because if you're just looking at, oh, I had this terrible race, this happened, like there's nothing I can do about it, then you're looking at that race wrong and you deserve to go slow. Like simple as that. Like, but if you can't figure out like and take away a learning experience from slow races or something like that, then you're not analyzing your races right, in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. It's great insight for swimmers, coaches, anyone listening to hear. All right, we'll wrap this up. A couple more questions. Looking forward, what's ahead of you now? I mean, again, you wrapped up this tremendous season. It's a big Olympic year. We got, Olympic trials and Indy happening in June, Olympics in July, and then next year, you're going to IU. You're continue swimming collegiately. You got one more season in you, and you've committed to go to Indiana University, which they nearly finished third at NCAA's this year. They got fourth by like 2 points. So a powerhouse school in the Big Ten. Ray Lewis is known for just producing some phenomenal swimmers, along with the other coaches around him doing a great job there. So, preview kind of what's ahead and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, obviously Olympic trials, but before that, we're gonna have a bunch of tune-up meets. So just kind of get a little more used to swimming the 100 breaststroke long course rather than short course. But yeah, it's really just everything's gonna be focused on trials up until trials. Obviously, I'm looking.
Do you like? Wait, real quick. Do you like? Do you enjoy switching gears from going to yard swimming to like long course swimming? As far as even like for example, the one breast, like the difference between swimming at yards versus swimming at meters. Does it matter for you, or are you kind of like I like both, or I like one or the other?
I actually like long course better, but
Mm,
obviously I don't train it enough where it's like something that I'm like extremely comfortable with doing.
right.
But I feel like whenever I would train long course consistently, like I just love it. I don't know why, but I think the 100-meter breast is a completely like it's almost a different race than the 100 short course.
Completely different.
Yeah, like you can't swim it the same. So yeah, I really enjoy it. If we had a long course pool, I would want to train long course 2 times a week during the season, just because um, I think it's really beneficial for a lot of strokes, and I think it's obviously if you're looking to be good at swimming, there's nothing better than like the pinnacle of swimming, which is the Olympics, and that's in long course. So you have to be good at long course
For
if you
sure.
want to go far in swimming. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then so preview. So you'll head to Olympic trials. You'll do kind of put out your best effort to just see what you can go there amidst all the fast swimmers, but potentially put your name in the conversation. And so then after that, you're heading to Indiana. You're going to IU. I guess yeah. So preview that, like as far as what went in the decision to extend your college swimming another year, go to Indiana. What will you be doing there? What will you be studying and pursuing? And ultimately, what made you choose Indiana?
Yeah. So I always knew I was going to take the 5th year of eligibility. My thing was I wanted to finish what I started at Towson. So that meant finishing the 4 years here. And honestly, like if I could figure out a way to like combine Towson and IU where like I didn't have to leave, but like I could go to IU, I would do that just because like I love the people here so much. But ultimately, I picked Indiana because it came down to I want to take breaststroke as far as I can go, and I thought that the coaching staff there, especially Ray Lewis, would probably be my best bet for taking my breaststroke as far as I can take it.
Yeah, it's like Breaststroke University over
It's
there.
breaststroke university.
It really is.
Yeah, and giving me the best shot of making like a world's team or any high level meet team. Honestly, just like being able to like get up there, make a final, hopefully put my name in the ring to have a chance. But at IU, I will be pursuing my Master's of Management. So I got accepted to that program. So it's like a 1 year program. So I'll be doing that during
Nice.
my 5th year. So that'd be awesome.
That's great. Yeah, awesome. And then like long term, I know it's a little bit ahead of us, but what are you thinking as far as will you look to kind of see how the swimming plays out in these next couple years as far as maybe making a run at the professional level for a world's team, extending your swimming career beyond college, or will you look to kind of transition out of the sport and venture into a career path? And if so, what do you have in mind?
Oh, I'm definitely extending my career as long as I can. I wanna end up being professional one day. I'm hoping the ISL comes back because I think my short course yard swimming would translate a little better to short course meters, just like right off without like any different training.
Yeah.
So if that comes back, I would love to compete for the ISL. But depending on how long course goes this summer, next summer, I would love to make a run for I guess 2020, 2028 Olympics. If not this Olympics, we'll see. Um, but I would love to continue swimming and really just see how far I can take it. I want to put myself on those international stages and represent the USA. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Are you? I see. There's a flag there. Is that Iceland?
no, this is Norway. That's
Norway. That's okay. Okay.
yeah.
Got some got some roots in Norway. I'm assuming. But would you compete for them, or is that yeah?
I mean, so it's a little bit of a different thing where I was there because of my dad's job, but I lived there for
Okay.
3 years, and like I just loved it so much that like I felt like a part of it. Um,
Definitely.
for like citizenship wise, I think it would take like 8 to 10 years.
Oh, okay.
I
Gotcha.
don't know. There are I'm sure that there's other options. We've seen Santo Condorelli. We know what he does. There's definitely other options for representing countries, but
For
first
sure.
thing first, if I can do it for the US, that's going to be the top priority.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, good. That basically wraps up, I could keep going with you, but I think we'll cut it here. This will be a nice, a nice limit for people to, or nice conversation for people to listen to. But as far as a get out swim, have you experienced any exciting get out swim that you have a memory of, at Towson or in the club days? And yeah, are you a fan of them? Yeah, just any get out swim story.
Yeah, I mean, to say you're not a fan of a get out swim, you're not a true swimmer. Uh,
Yeah.
no, sadly, like my club team, I never did any really get out swims.
Mm.
Um, but I've done plenty of get out swims in college. I have a recent story actually. It happened this year, and I won't say names to embarrass to not like to save the dignity of some of the people involved.
For
But
sure, for sure.
we had a set that we were doing where the coach offered us, where Tony offered us a get out swim, where it was 4x50 free relay. It was two guys, two girls. And I don't remember exactly what he put the time at, but it was somewhere like, it was pretty hard. Like it wasn't going to be easy. Um, we let off with me, followed by the second guy, and then it was the two girls. And before we did the relay, one of the girls comes up to me and she goes, swim really fast so that like I can't mess it up for us. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like I'll do my best. And so I get off. I do the 50 free. I think I split like a 20.6. The guy after me splits like a 20.6 or 20.8. The third girl or first girl splits. Well, we're well under the time at this point. She splits whatever, and the last girl dives in because and keep in mind everybody is on the side of the pool cheering us on. The coaches are going crazy. She dives in immediately. Goggles fly off. She busts.
No.
It just goes dead silent. And I'm like, oh my god. And it was the same girl that had asked me to go fast so that she couldn't mess it up. I felt so bad, but I looked at Tony. I was like, "There's no way I'm like I just like put everything into that 50. There's no way I'm gonna have to swim this whole practice after it."
And wait, what are the stakes here? Like, how much of the practice have you guys gotten into? And if you get it, are you out of the rest of the practice? Like, what are the stakes?
Yeah, so we had finished the warm up and maybe a little bit of the preset, and so like the rest of the set was still like we had everything essentially left,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was like it was basically all or nothing. Like if we didn't do that, I would have had a terrible practice. Um, Luckily, Tony was very gracious because we were so far under like the cut line that he's had set that he was like, "All right, if you can go faster than the time that you needed to go from a flat start, we'll let you get out. So she got a second chance. She got up and she killed it, of course.
Nice. That's
But
awesome.
I just thought it was so funny because it was like, she's like, don't mess
Yeah.
up. Like, go
Right.
fast. I don't mess up. Like, and then
Yeah.
that happened.
And then that happens, right? The unforeseeable. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good though.
That's good. She got a redemption. That's good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Because yeah, it's not fun when those fail. That's for
Oh my
sure.
god.
Um,
The whole like pool went silent. It was just like from here to
right. Right.
there.
Yeah. Everyone's going crazy. It's pandemonium. We're gonna do it, and then it's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, well, that's great. Awesome. Well, Brian, thanks again for coming on, sharing, a bit of your story and mindset. And it was really great. I hope people can take away, some good insight from you on this. And yeah, best of luck moving forward at Towson and in this summer, and then at IU, dude. Wish you all the best. Hopefully we can reconnect in the future. And yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to add, now's the time.
I won't add anything. I think it was really great. It was awesome to just have a conversation with you. Thanks for having me.
For sure. All right. Be well, dude.